याद में निहा तेरी यादों का तेरी याद में निहा तेरी यादों का तेरी याद में निहा तेरी यादों का तेरी याद में निहा तेरी
Dude, go ahead, Boogie. You can get the intro.
What's good, everybody? Hey. It's another Wednesday night, man. We back at it. We down one, but we plus up. We up another one. All right, we got a boy, Jay Poy over here. You know, all bro fins. You know what I'm saying? Fins up. I know Sterling would have some shit to say about that if he was here.
He said the day coming. I'm sending shots.
So
I know you're watching.
yeah. So yeah, man. You know, but we still here, man. We're gonna talk a little bit about we're gonna gear this a little bit towards more about a little bit of boxing and MMA, and we're gonna also talk more about playoff basketball as it happens. I think the Celtics just advanced, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. But you know, I gotta say, you know, I gotta cut out here early, so you know it's gonna be without me. But anywho, let's go ahead and get the show underway. Russ, you want to go ahead? You got a out of bounds for us? Well, no.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I got a quick one for everybody today. You know what this is. Oh, and by the way, you know what I'm saying? How's everybody doing? Mavericks playing tonight. So go. Let's go, Mavs. We got to get the job done. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to go home down. But the out of bounds, let's get to it quickly. An ex-MLB player. Here we go. This is where I need Sterling because you know he's the one that graduated with English major honors. Yuniesky Betancourt. He was accused of staging. I think I messed that up. It might be Bentancur or something else, but I said
It's Yuniesky Betancourt.
Huh?
Yuniesky Betancourt.
There we go. The Yuniesky Betancourt. I did not have the little pronunciation thing on the internet for it.
He used to play for really on the, that's why. That's the only reason.
But on the cool. The reason why I don't have the pronunciation there and don't know because I actually just looked it up because I was actually looking. I was gonna do the nigga going for the Triple Crown against one family. And that was Rashee Rice because they found information on him. Not only did he punch somebody in the club, not only did he caught speeding, he got some information found on him. But since that's not official yet, you know what I'm saying? It could be like the shit that Drake and Kendrick were telling us, all lies. But what you call it? So I went ahead and skipped that. But if he does happen to be guilty of some of this other shit, Rashee, we are coming back because you would be the only nigga to beat out the Porters, and you're one man. With three different things, so we will circle back if we need to. But we just gonna call him YB because his name is too hard to pronounce on the cool. So YB is a former ex MLB player. He got caught accused staging a car crash for insurance fraud money. He played for the Mariners, Royals, Brewers. He played for 9 years. Let me see. He had accomplices, about 4 individuals with him. He was going to report. He had a goal of reporting the accident, you know, to the insurance company and then exploit personal injuries and then going ahead and getting the money for that. But that all went to shit because his plan was fucked over. They found out that the accident that they tried to make real was actually fake. And all the individuals that were seeking physical therapy that they never sustained. So they all got caught, you know, basically in a big fraud scandal. And he's getting, let me see. Fraud over $80,000, and then let me see. I don't think he has any like time yet. But yeah, he going to jail because if you have fake car crashes and you try to cheat the insurance company, that shit is out of bounds. And 99% of the time, they will find you out. And again, I'm not gonna talk about Big Baby because I don't want to get canceled. But I just want to say. I'm not going to say anything about that, guys. Y'all might have seen the live. I'll just say this. The man looks like he's ready to go to prison. It's like he might want to go to prison.
He's in good spirits.
What?
He's in good spirits.
Yes, he's in good spirits. And you know, he's very happy about it. So you might say he's feeling gay about prison. He's very exuberant feeling quite gay about prison because you know the original definition of the word. So he's very happy about this. It's kind of weird that he's very happy about this. That shit is out of bounds in itself, but I think we already covered what he did, but the fact that I'm not gonna get into it because you know that's kind of weird. he's ready to go. He's ready to go.
Well, I think is one of the things that one of my lawyer friends said that he doesn't have to pay back the money that he alleged what happened with the money. So he doesn't have to pay anything back. He just has to go do the 3.5 years. But he's not going to do the 3. He's going to do somewhere in the neighborhood around 2, and you know, get to keep money. I mean, look,
I do 2 days.
Yeah, but he's going to go to federal, so you know, it's not going to be rapey prison. Where the shit happens, where everybody's thinking is he's probably going to be, you know, there with other white collar criminals, you know, or those. Yeah, it's not going to be the rapey prison.
He's not going to Oz, y'all.
Yeah, he ain't going to Oz.
He ain't going to Oz. Yeah. Hey, honestly, did you remember that? Do you remember that show, Oz? Did you ever see that show?
I do remember that show.
Okay, so if you got HBO, watch it, but beware. But that shows why a lot of guys, me and Boogie's age, don't want to go to prison. Yeah. That show alone, nigga, watching Oz made you say, "What?
Yeah. Fuck?
What the fuck? Nah, man. So yeah, on TikTok and shit with their phones, looking at all the shit like, oh, they're cooking in prison. Oh, they got phones in prison. What you think they'd do to get that phone?
You know,
look, what you think you had to do to get them little shrimp?
Hey man, look, I ain't gonna say too much, but I had a brother that you know was in.
Everybody don't smoke cigarettes, Boogie. Yeah. Everybody does not smoke cigarettes.
All I'm gonna say is that I had a brother in federal, and I was in Portland, and he made a call to me while I was in Portland, and the activities that we were on weren't too much different. So I'll just leave it at that.
Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, yeah, and he was out here in Texas. But that was years ago, and you know, the stories he tells me about his time, he can do his own podcast.
We should have him on. We should have him on. You know what I'm saying?
The problem with that is getting him comfortable enough to talk. But once he gets going, yeah, because some of the shit he started kind of, you know, slowly dripping out. And he, you know, one of the things
talking nothing fucking like wild.
No, so one of the things that he told me was that, you know, and is that, you know, he set up a whole little operation to where, you know, he can bring in, you know, things, you know, where he was like bringing in like food, like,
oh, he was boofing food.
Yeah, he was bringing in like, you know, food, dog, and cheeseburgers, you know, Jack in the Box
Cheeseburger Eddie.
That was one of his nicknames that he said that they called him. So
because that movie when that nigga had that cheeseburger in the jail.
So, I'll try my best to try to get him on. It's going to have to be sometime during the summer, whenever, you know.
When that shit dry in the summer, we're gonna talk about random shit. You're gonna let it go. We're gonna talk about when the summertime is for everybody else. Like, we want sports, we talk about some random shit. That is a dope shirt.
With him, is going to, he, you know,
I can make you a better one.
It's probably going to be done in installments with him. But anywho, but yeah, man. But knowing some of the shit that happens there, you know, I think that Big Baby is going to be just fine. He's not going to, you know, first of all, motherfucker tall as shit. People gonna have to worry about him versus you know, him having to worry about anybody else.
There were some things that came out that like Big Baby was on. Now, I'm only saying what I heard, but like on that Dwight Howard time, as far as like what we got going on, like there were some things that came out with the that Jeff,
I'm sorry,
girl boy that came out, like, and she was like, she's called by all these NBA and NFL players that like, or he or whatever, but you know what I mean, whatever that he's called. But
yeah,
no, it was crazy timing that they're on.
Yeah,
bro. Yeah. Y'all know that Dwight Howard got a new nickname. I forgot what podcast I was watching. I think it was it had to be the Jeff Teague podcast. And I pray to God I get to meet Jeff Teague, because that nigga might be my spirit animal, no homo. Like that nigga, I might meet that nigga, become a best friend, nigga. That nigga right there, right? Him or the other nigga that drinks way too much Hennessy on the other side of him. I think it was the other nigga. That nigga said Dwight Howard's new nickname is Freaky D. I would never not call him. I'll never call him anything else. So Freaky D.
All right.
Freaky D with the 12.
Hell no.
Nah, bro.
Kidding. All right, no Diddy. Go ahead, let's talk about this boxing shit, bro. Let's try and get you getting on some basketball before we end, though.
All right, well, let's go ahead and let's stop off in the MMA department real quick. Jose Aldo came out of retirement. I want to say, without looking it up, I think he's the first guy to be inducted in the Hall of Fame to have a fight.
Bro, he cheated the system.
I want to say he's the first because I want to say is him and John Jones. I thought John Jones was going to be the first guy, but I think Jose Aldo beat him to that accomplishment. Pause. If that's a pause worthy or whatever. But anyway, Aldo retired in 2022. Came back this weekend, fought Martinez, and looked like he didn't look like the old King of Rio, but he definitely looked like a guy that could definitely come back in there and take a couple more fights. After the fight, they asked, what's next for Jose Aldo. He does not know yet. Him and Dana White are going to meet together and they're going to talk about any potential future fights. But hats off to Jose Aldo. Not too many people can hang it up and then come back at the highest level and get a
he tried to circle back.
I said with Jose, he was a product of the timing at which he joined MMA, because nowadays with everything as far as like the rehydration stuff that they got going on and the way that they're able to lose weight, the fact that Conor McGregor was able to go down to 145 at what he is, which is like 160 or 165, and so like nowadays you're not going to be able to live if you are actually a 145er and you're fighting in 145, you're gonna have to go down to like 135 if you're gonna be successful. And Jose Aldo, I just don't think that the timing that he's on, he's got money. I don't think he's gonna be able to want to go down to 135. So I would say that like if he is gonna keep fighting, him be a stepping stone guy or somebody that keeps these guys out of like whatever
a gatekeeper
got going on. Yeah,
I think that's where he's at. Never to say that he was going to be in one of the championship scenes, things like that. He's a name, but I do think that he's best fit at a gatekeeper role at this point in his. It's not. I mean, you like you said, won his money, won his titles. You're in the Hall of Fame. There's really nothing else left to prove, unless you just want to.
We got one thing to prove.
That old niggas still fight.
There's one thing he can prove. He trying to circle back when Conor ain't fighting no more.
Connor's still there. Man. Connor's still there, dog. Like I don't think.
When I'm not gonna lie, whenever people say Jose Aldo, all I think about is damn, that shit was fast.
Yeah,
it's an unfair fight. It's an unfair fight to begin with.
Oh yeah.
It was mental warfare, dog, from the jump. But Conor,
bro, he
executed that pretty masterfully. And when you start looking at behind the scenes, where they kind of they start showing like the preparation leading up to the fight, because around that time, I think I wasn't in tune with the fight at the time, but I did see it while I was DJing, and the result was like
said I didn't get to play a song.
Yeah, it's like shit. I was curious to get up. I missed
it. Make sure you pay your bartender. Damn.
Yeah, like no, literally, what happened was, we will kill the sound. So the main fight will go through the main speakers. So but we do have to make announcements. For like Russell said, like for bar announcement, drinks.
Hey, tip the bartenders is the main one. You already know that. Tip the bartenders, nigga.
Yeah, so hey, don't forget to tip the bartenders. That's the one thing that you always
go get something to drink.
Yeah,
tip the bartenders.
I do wish
bartenders.
I do wish that Conor stayed in the 145 for a while, even though I don't think there's one person that could be in the history of MMA that could beat Conor at 145. He hit too hard for somebody that was at 145, and they didn't hit hard enough. And like even Dustin Poirier, when he went down, he was nowhere near the striker that he is now because he was able to put the weight on and have the power behind his punches. But at 155, Conor don't have the knockout, super knockout power that he did at 145 because their chins are weak down there. Not weak, but like their chins aren't what they are at 155. So I will say that like Conor, had he stayed in the 145, he would be looked at as probably the greatest MMA fighter of all time. And I commend him for going up, but I was part of me wishes that he would have stayed in that division.
So hypothetical Russ would just like to say this when you said 145, one name, right? Just for the money, the amount of people that will watch. Man, I'd like to see a Conor McGregor fight Bud. Like I would love to see that shit. Like I don't give a fuck if it's in. Like they can't fight in the ring though because Bud would beat his ass. Like so they can't box, so it'd have to be MMA. But I would just love to see that banter back and forth before the fight because Conor would say some wild shit. Like I can only imagine the wild shit. Like your mother doesn't love you would only be the beginning. Like so like he would like the shit Conor would come up with. But no, that'd be hilarious to watch. But I agree with you, Poto. I think if he would have stayed, he wouldn't end up getting his ass beat by them bigger people. He would have been able to keep throwing them hands at 145 because he was slick with them motherfuckers. Like he had MMA skills, but them hands was crazy.
When people stand up with them in 155, that's
no, I'm saying like
able to do that.
You can't take those punches.
155, they just they take him down, they lay on him, they
eat them
can't
hoes,
do the shit that he wants. Like, and I'm not a fan of that type of fighting. I get the appeal that it has of like wrestling and like, but I want to see somebody get knocked out if I'm watching the UFC and like Khabib was probably one of the best fighter of all time.
Just don't fight Khabib. Just don't fight Khabib.
Yeah,
just don't fight Khabib.
He should have never offered that up to Khabib because like that style is not. He has a chin that can take all the punches, and he's just gonna take you down. And
nigga wrestled a bear. Nigga wrestled a bear. But no, Khabib is the type of guy that stands up and says, "I whoop every nigga in here," and everybody goes, "You might buy him a beer, get him to calm down before he does it."
They was talking about boxing with Khabib. Khabib would get absolutely smacked by any boxer in the history.
Yeah, he's not.
They call Mike Khabib in boxing.
I don't want to see him do that. I'd like to. But I feel people that are like the wrestling. But to me, it's like if you want to throw strikes and box, nigga, then go box. This is MMA. This is street fighter in real life, my nigga. I want a nigga to throw Hadouken. I hope I live long enough to see a nigga throw some energy. I want to see a nigga glow. I want to see a nigga glow. Like, hey, shit.
As far as
I'm trying to see that.
As far as like when it comes to stand up strikers and stuff like that, you're not going to see a lot of like the old days. Whenever you had guys that would just as they say stand and bang. But
you got Max.
Well, no. Yeah, Max, Gaethje.
But if somebody fought them like the way that Poirier fought, if people stand there and kick their calves until they can't stand on the ground anymore, Max is not standing up with nobody. Like if he gets his calf kicked like that the entire day.
But I think that's anybody.
And
that's just the nature of them leg kicks, the whole ass leg kicks.
But you still have your guys that your stand up artists, your knockout artists. Derek Lewis is still, and I, before we even get to Derek Lewis, but the thing I gotta say is that if you would have told me 5 years ago that we would that do you think that Derek Lewis is in his prime, I would have answered yes. And fast forward, it looks like we're still he's still in it. He is still the leader, the leading KO, the leader. He has the most KOs in UFC.
I know he's trying to work his way back up. Who is it that he lost to? This is gonna lead to my next question.
He lost. Oh shit! He lost a few.
I know he's okay. So
it was Cyril Gane, right? I know you lost Cyril Gane. And it was somebody else that you lost maybe before.
So is he just? I've noticed one thing about UFC. UFC, you get to a certain point, and then you get beat, and then sorry, my finger's ugly. You get to a certain point, and then you get beat. God damn. You get to a certain point, and then you get beat, and then you either become a guy that continuously tries to get the championship belt, or you become a guy that is just there for the show. And do you think he's on that other side of the hill where he's just, hey, this is Derek Lewis. He's a good fight. He's not going to go for any kind of titles, but he's a good fight to have on, or is he going to be trying to get back to where he was trying to get to the belt?
There's a way. The top three guys figure out the difference between the top three guys and the rest is they know how to figure out how to beat you. And there's a certain way to beat everybody other outside of John Jones that I've seen and Khabib. and so when you get to those top three, they know how to study and find out how you get beat, and they are great at executing it. And Derek Lewis has a way that he's able to get beat, and they know how to do it. Now, these other guys, they're not. That's the difference. These other guys that he's fighting, they don't know how to beat him, and they don't know how to figure it out. And so he can he can stomp on all these. He might be one of the best ever to never be great at fighting the top three guys. And so you're not going to stand there and stand up with him. If you're going to try to take him down, there's certain ways to do it. Like he'll never beat John Jones in that heavyweight. Like John Jones would pick him apart so fast, it might be over within like.
I don't think anybody can though.
Well for prime example, DC whenever he fought DC, Derek Lewis fought DC, it was the same thing. Derek Lewis is great at what he does. He does a lot of things that you scratch your head, look at on paper, you're like, okay, we have a guy who's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu submission specialist. He would get Derek Lewis on the ground, and Derek would just simply stand up or simply kind of I don't want to say it, but he's kind of like he comes off in his bad wording, but it's like he's a savant of some sort. He just kind of just does shit, and it just works for him.
He doesn't use so as a person,
he's not a technical guy. He's not a technical guy.
As a person that watches football, basketball, he's a person that does shit off of instinct. He does
Nate Diaz.
Yeah, he's Nate Diaz.
Okay. I feel what that means. I know. I get what you mean.
He's a trained fighter, but he is natural instinct.
Yeah, he doesn't fight like it.
Matter of fact, I remember his first fight whenever he fought Matt Mitrione, and I remember I just moved back home, and I was just like, man, I was fucking depressed because I was back home. I moved away from San Antonio. I was just sitting there watching the fight, and I remember, the two things that got my attention was that with the Matt Mitrione fight was that his nickname was the Black Beast. I was like, that's a fucking odd ass nickname, and he threw up the H's. I was like, oh shit, he's fighting out of Houston.
Yeah,
so I always
he's definitely entertaining.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely entertaining. But that fight, he got knocked out in the first round, but but I somehow stayed up with the fights, and stayed up to date with his career. But he's been one of the more exciting fighters to watch. Michel Pereira is one that we talked about a little bit last week. Russell, you talking about the dude that does the backflip kicks, but Michel Pereira does a lot of a lot of high risk.
When dudes get kicked in the face like that, it's like, oh my god.
Well, it's not even that. Like Pereira, not to get off what's called Pereira does a lot of entertaining things in fights where you'd be like, why hasn't nobody clipped him yet? Like one was probably he just went ahead and just open slapped the guy. He was like, I can't remember it was covered. He was just like, speaking Portuguese. He said what he said. Yep. Because they had some altercation or something, about the fight, but he said there's something to the effect where the dude was saying you're gonna slap him like a B word, I believe, and like you say you're gonna slap him, I'm gonna slap you, whap. So, but Pereira does a lot of the off the cage kicks, backflips inside the octagon. He does all that shit.
Before we lose you, Boogie, I wanted to ask you this. Moving forward a little bit, I want to ask you this. YouTube poll. How would you feel if you got your ass whooped so bad by the Mexican guy up the street that you said he cheated and then it came back he didn't? Go.
You talking about Devin Haney?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I'm not going to go and go on social media and talk to the hood council and be like, y'all got to give me my O back. that's first and foremost. I wouldn't do that shit. If you not know where I'm coming from, Haney went ahead and tried to talk to the powers that be and wanted to get his loss expunged and overturned, which I think is super weak as hell.
I think it was people in his ear as well. I do think they're trying to build up.
No, it's not good. No, Paul is not Paul. This is Daniel. This is guy
the people in his ear. Like
Haney reminds me of one of these.
Yeah,
he does the boxing with everybody else.
They thought this was the ticket. They thought fighting Ryan Garcia was the ticket to getting that Tank fight, and it building it up. And when it didn't happen the way that they thought it was going to happen, they didn't know what to do, and they still wanted the Tank fight because that's a lot of money. And they figured out a way to maybe make it delusional, to muddy the waters a little bit with Ryan Garcia. And I mean, it's the boxing business. It's dirty. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah, the boxing business is one of my favorite sports landscapes because it combines my two favorite things: sports and crime. And these two have always been intertwined.
Sports and crime,
bro. Yeah, like what you like even in present day,
right?
Daniel Kinahan is like one of the biggest boxing promoters, or was, and this motherfucker is allegedly one of the heads of the Irish Kinahan cartel. So
I'm gonna go on a little rant. Like that's the problem with boxing. Where like WWE has made a way to make it entertainment.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
To make it entertaining, but if you lose, they know how to build you back up. Boxing has never been able to build somebody back up that has lost, which is the problem. UFC has done a good job with it. WWE has done a good job with it. And boxing, they feel like you have to have the O, or else you're not a primetime boxer. And that's a problem because when you lose, now you lose that primetime boxer who could still be a primetime boxer. Mm-hmm. Now, I think that boxing needs to reset the way they think about these O's and how they're fighting, and if you're only going to fight for the pinnacle, like are we fighting for the O, or are we going to fight to actually see who's the best fighter going on? You know what I mean? Like,
and thank you, Christopher Shaw. Everybody wants to be Floyd, and nobody was this way until Floyd went 50-0.
Yeah.
And everybody was about fighting the best fighter, proving that they were, the best boxer in their division. And another thing I want boxing to kind of clean up on, hey man, clean up these goddamn championship belts in these divisions, like 4 championships each weight class, and it's kind of hard for me to keep up.
I'm a casual, and that's my problem. Here, okay, so y'all, Christopher Sherrard, who watches the show, y'all are more invested. I watch fights, but like y'all, I listen to y'all. But that when you said that, all these belts, all these cats that have to go these different places to try to get a fight, and you got to wait 10 years to see two people fight. And like, no, I want to see Boots versus Bud. I want to see Bud versus Canelo, even though I heard from a very intelligent boxing person that Bud should probably not do that because the weight's going to fuck him up. You know what I'm saying? And so but I want to see those fights. I really think that boxing should
too many promotions.
I think boxing should give Dana White a call.
Yeah, but they would never do that. That's pride.
They wouldn't. It'd be the ultimate admission. It'd be the ultimate admission of like you won. But I believe like until boxing finds another person, Dana's the only person that we've seen that can say, not only will I give you the fights you want, when you are on top, I will find somebody that can whoop your ass, unless your name is John Jones or Khabib, that's why they're so amazing.
I mean, they still tried though.
He still tried.
Try to find somebody.
Yeah, you, and like you said, Poe, he also your very first point. He builds people back up. Like in UFC, you can lose, and it's okay because we know that two combatants fought, you lost, and you have a chance to fight another guy, and then I get my rematch if the guy at top is still winning. So it's a circle effect. But in boxing, once a guy loses, Adrian Broner lost, and we had to wait like 3-4 years before another, another phenom or another guy came up. You know what I'm saying? And if Boots loses this fight he about to fight, We're gonna have to wait another like 10 years before we get another phenom because shit, they're not robots, they're humans, they grow. So it takes a while to get one. So that's my problem. It's like once you lose, it takes too long. There's too many fucking belts. Like shit, get some weight classes, get a certain number of belts. I wish Danny would just make his own fucking boxing thing and say, y'all fight wherever y'all want. I'm just here to have y'all fight to see, like you said, Paul, who's gonna be the best fighter. I got these weight classes, I got these bets, and I got this money. What's up?
Conor McGregor is a perfect example. He lost to Nate. We kind of forget that he lost to Nate as time has went on. But he lost to Nate, came back, beat Nate, so that rebuilt him right away back to the stardom that he was at. And then he lost to or he went and fought Floyd in boxing, lost to Floyd, which is it's boxing, it is what it is. And then he came back and he won one and then lost to Khabib. Now he lost to Khabib, and the biggest fight right now of all time is him and Dustin's second one or third one. And now he ended up breaking his foot, but like that was the biggest fight on as far as a pay-per-view. And that's what I'm talking about. Is like it doesn't need like as far as the UFC doesn't really need Conor now, but Conor also doesn't need the UFC. And like building those people out in that way is what Nate doesn't need the UFC. Like these guys that are big names and now, Ryan Garcia needs. Well, he's got content, but Tank needs boxing, like boxing promotion.
Like to piggyback off that, it is difference being a fan of a fighter than it is for a team because, when the fighter hangs it up, he's done. Is like Russ said, you got to wait, X amount of years until you find another, whatchamacallit. Whereas teams are always reloading and adding talent every year. If you're a fan of I'm a fan of Tony Ferguson, and is pretty much Tony Ferguson is at the I'm gonna be honest, he should have been retired, a while ago, but he's still going, and this is kind of like the Mike Tyson vibes I was having whenever he was getting worked by Lennox Lewis, and we will kind of we're going to touch on that a little bit later on, but yeah, that is always the downside of being a fan of the fight game. When they hang them up, you're never going to find another fighter like that. They were literally like one of a kind. That's how I felt about whenever Prince Nassim Hamed was one of the fighters I enjoyed watching as a kid. Hell entertaining. Emmanuel Augustus, whenever I used to watch HBO boxing on HBO. But no, it's just time comes for everybody, and there's always another crop of fighters that you can kind of you might like, you might not, but as far as the boxing goes, as far as the crossing over shit, because there was some things I wanted to talk about with I know I'm kind of area where I'm still remembering like the Derek Lewis shit. That's where we didn't close on, because I was like, there was something that we didn't close on, but the Derek Lewis shit, he's gonna always do one of three things. He's going to either get a knockout, he's going to give you a great post-game speech or some type of memorable moment, or he's going to give you all three. He did that with us this past weekend with his knockout celebration, where he gave you all three, took his shorts off. He did he did his little and he gave you a nice little post-game post-fight speech. But I think speaking of WWE, he did state that they are looking to acquire his services, so you might see him somewhere in the future. And shout out to Randy Orton, who was at UFC St. Louis too. So shout out to him.
That's dope though. He seems like he would he'd fit in very well with the WWE.
I'll be honest, the one person on that UFC roster that would fit in, that you don't even need to do no rework and no character work or nothing like that, no gimmick changes, is Conor, because he's already his own.
He's already him.
Yeah, they tried to replicate Conor into Becky Lynch whenever she was big time Bex.
I don't know if Connor would wear. I think Connor's personality is too strong to where he wouldn't want to listen to the writers. And
Oh
so
no, he would never listen. No, you gonna have to let him run.
Derek would though.
His gimmick he would have to run roughshod over everyone.
He like that's true because he would the writers would put, all right, Connor, you're gonna get your ass kicked. Fuck I'm not. Here's the fuck is this? Fuck it, my ass whoop. Nobody can whoop my ass. Like, he probably just go fucking crazy.
I do like the way these guys, Ryan Garcia, Logan, these guys like build their content up outside, and now Ryan can lose, Logan can lose. Like because of the following that they have outside of the sports that they're in, they're able to lose and not do well, and they're still going to have a backing. They're still going to be a big fight. Connor's the same way. He can lose to this fight to Michael Chandler. I don't think he will. I think it'll be a fairly fast knockout. But I think he can lose. Like he's been able to lose and come back from it. And like that's this outside content and building up your brand outside of sports. Like these guys don't come around. Jake Paul's another perfect. He can lose to a guy like Tommy Fury and come back and still fight and still he's learning and whatnot. Like I like the way that they're adapting to the times, whereas like boxing is not adapting as much as I would like them to.
No, adapt. It's not at all. You can say it.
You know what I mean?
It's like, not adapting at all.
It's not, like, bro, this is 2024,
like
brother.
Yeah, when cars first came out, boxing is the guy that says, "You're gonna drive that machine. I got my horse, and I'm gonna keep my horse."
But there's a Tesla right over there, and you still on a fucking horse. Come on, bro. Like,
you know, they're the guys that when the pencil and pen first came out, there was a motherfucker with a chisel. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, that shit ain't never last. That's just a goddamn. But yeah, man.
Shit, our age, y'all remember? And I'm gonna be real, Boogie. You too, bro. You probably had some grandparents, some great grandparents like this when the computer first dropped. What I need that machine for?
Yeah, when I started DJing.
Yeah.
So when I started DJing, I started DJing on vinyl, and I was at the cusp of they just dropped CDJs, CD decks. And that was the new thing whenever I started DJing. So, I'm kind of like, learning on both. But, it was like a big thing where people would be like, oh, well, you don't know how to DJ on vinyl. So you really don't know how to DJ. Fast forward, nobody's, very few people are DJing on vinyl. Everybody has, digital. Everybody has a controller. And it just.
I mean, it just works better. It's more efficient.
It's more efficient.
Efficiency will always beat out novelty.
Yeah, nobody's gonna haul around, crates and milk crates, records and stuff like that. Nobody's doing that.
I remember one time I was at the club and my homie shout out Keep Up. Keep Up had to use the bathroom really bad, and so he was like, "Russ, come here." And this is how like technology, how far he has come. And I understand, me, but I understand all the shit y'all use because I just hung around y'all and looked at it and shit. So, but he was like, "Come here," and he's like, "What?" He said, this button. And just wait for me to get out. And I said, what? He said, one song gonna play, hit this button. He said, then wait for another song to finish, hit this button. And I'm gonna pop out. He said, do not touch the scratcher thingies. He said, do not. And he looked at me, don't touch the scratcher thingies. My ass, Boogie. I would have been in that bitch. Hey, yo. Fucked up the whole vibe. But nah, literally all I had to do was boop, boop. But I get it. I mean, I get why the older niggas was mad because they like, man, it's blood, sweat, and tears. I was carrying milk crates. Yeah, shit. My pops got records, so I know they carry milk crates to them hoes, and you gotta.
Bro, I got a container. Like, I because of that, I found out my dad was a DJ because he gave me all his record collections, and
that's dope.
I was just like, on some real shit. I was like, the fuck I'm supposed to do with this shit? Like, like I ain't got no fucking vinyl, like, so I still have them, just for nostalgia purpose. I went through them, and it's a bunch of good records. It's a bunch of.
Do you don't have a vinyl player?
No, like I've had one.
Oh, you gotta get you one.
The thing is this, and I'm gonna be honest, that I just don't want to have to keep spending money on the needles and all the other shit.
I feel you.
With all that shit, you don't live
with it every day. That's just something that you can. Yeah, one day you got people in there. You're like, hold on, wait for this needle.
But why? Whenever I can just go and push some buttons on my phone and get the same shit.
No, true. But like I said, it's a novelty item. Yeah. You're not doing it for efficiency. It's when you're sitting with your partners and you're like, yo, y'all want to hear the vinyl version of Chronic?
Play no goddamn vinyl version.
I'm about to wait for this needle to drop, nigga. Yeah, nigga.
Nah, nigga,
I'm not gonna lie.
nah.
The needle dropping on the record is dope.
There's no
Got
other
to go to
sound.
another
Like
zone.
that's the only thing that I would I give vinyl is that there's no replication for that sound. Like that's
No, forever in my life because my pops is
Yeah.
like a big like he's 70s dude, so he's got like a bunch of like I'm very well versed in 70s R&B. So anyway, Brother Johnson's, you don't have to know the record,
Yeah.
but forever in my life,
Right,
I hear a
right.
vinyl,
Yeah,
I hear a vinyl hit, and I hear a baby start crying. And if you know the record, then you know the record. But
Yeah.
but I just that there's nothing that compares to that. But yeah, I mean we can head on. I think we got some other time. I want to try to get into basketball before you leave, Boogie. So we can hit up the next topic if you wish.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Usyk and Fury fight that's coming up. I just literally watched the one of the pre-fights little pre-show. And I was thoroughly entertained. Watching this fight. I didn't see not talking about the John Fury shit yet, but with John Fury headbutted one of Usyk's entourage members. But one thing that we know about Tyson Fury was he likes to play head games with his opponents. And whenever I was wondering, I was like, okay, so we're looking at this fight, Usyk is undefeated, and Fury's, obviously, Fury's the champ. So, there's really like nothing out there to that's a telling of how can you beat Usyk. He's undefeated. Like, I think the closest I've seen, and I'm not saying that I've seen all his fights, but the closest I've seen, was that one round against Anthony Joshua on the second fight, and after that, it was kind of like he just pretty much woke up Usyk, and Usyk just started coming alive, and and started pelting Joshua towards the closing of the fight, but as far as like looking at the Fury and how they match up, the one thing that I'm going to say is that I don't think the mind games is going to work for Tyson Fury against Usyk. We forget Usyk is already, when the Ukraine and Russian conflict popped off, he went over there, to serve his country. So motherfucker seen, we don't know if he's in combat or what have you, but I just don't think that the mind games is going to work with Usyk. No. His approach is very cold and emotionless. Like he just kind of just gets in there. I'm gonna do the shit that I need to do. He's a volume puncher. He gets a little bit more effective as the fight goes on. The more punches he throws. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that he's gonna, come out this the victor. I think, it's still gonna be Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury came in, lean. But the one thing
that's very nice. Just say he's nice, man. Like he does a lot of things that piss people off. People are like, but he be winning. Like just from the outside perspective, he be whipping people ass.
So when I seen this, the one thing that came to me was like, when I we talked, touched on a little bit. Pause was the Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson fight, and I think that this is going to go much of the same. You have a guy that is going to that is a volume puncher that's is going to produce some offense, but you have Tyson Fury that's I think is going to pretty much keep him at bay. Keep him from coming within range, and a leaner Tyson Fury lets me know that he's probably going to do a lot more moving around.
Yeah,
and maybe having him pursue a little bit, but still keeping him at bay. And that's kind of what I looked at and what I thought what jumped off. I was like, okay, well, he came in, he didn't come in heavy where he's going to be leaning on him, and things of that sort. But
I've been paying attention to the people that's around him. I do think the Fury's time as a family is coming. As far as being out of the spotlight, and the more John is loud, the more it makes me feel like he's
They're at
trying
risk.
to hang on to this popularity that he's got. And I don't know if it's Usyk, but the Fury's time is coming.
Yeah.
It could be Usyk. I have a feeling Usyk's gonna win. I have the Ngannou fight showed me that like when Tyson's not paying attention, he'll get clipped, and when he gets clipped, he'll drop.
Mhm.
And I don't think that Tyson's a technical boxer. It's very hard to go fight after fight of making sure you're doing what you're doing correctly at all points. And I do think there's going to be a time. I don't know if it'll be Usyk or not. It could be where he leaves a gap open and he gets knocked out, and he's not going to be able to Gypsy King his way out of that fight. So like I do think his time is coming. I hope it's now because I'm pretty tired of the whole Fury.
I can tell by your tone.
Like,
He's you're not gonna be able to Gypsy King your way out of this bitch.
Like, I thought that it was going to be. I honestly thought that it was going to be the Joshua fight. I thought that until Joshua went and got exposed and lost.
I don't trust Anthony.
Yeah, not prior to that, I thought it was going to be Joshua, but then afterwards, I was like, no. But no, as far as like who can dethrone the Gypsy King, I gotta agree with Poe. I do think the time is coming. Everybody has their time. And
so y'all both think that the Gypsy King is gonna lose this next fight?
Ain't nobody gonna have a run like Klitschko, bro. Ain't nobody gonna have a run like that no more. Like, I think that
gives me reason. That gives me reason. That gives me more reason to watch.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think there's gonna ever be a run like that that I would see anymore. Well, hold on. How long is first of all, let me just say this. I'm not calling this man Canelo. All right, his name is Saul Alvarez. All right, I'm not calling no grown ass man Cinnamon. All right, I just found out that that's what the word means. Canelo means.
Oh
cinnamon.
No. Canelo means cinnamon?
Yeah, I ain't calling no grown ass.
Oh
man
no,
cinnamon.
I can't call no nigga cinnamon.
Saul Alvarez.
I can't call him. No, I just gotta call him Al. I can't call him cinnamon.
Yeah, I found out that shit. I said,
it's because he got red hair.
Yeah, you got red hair.
I understand fully.
Yeah, I understand. But it don't translate well.
I got a red beard. I can call him Canelo.
Yeah, I'm just saying, hey, Poe, I would never call you cinnamon.
Yeah.
And how would you feel if I did?
You ain't call me cinnamon. You can call me Canelo, though.
Thank you.
You can call me Canelo, though, which is not the same thing. It's
exactly.
English people don't know what it is.
Can't call him.
Man, that kind of, I don't know, man. Cinnamon is cinnamon.
Spanish cinnamon different. It's spicy.
But no, but yeah, like, so let's go ahead and excuse me. So let's go ahead and move forward.
NBA, come on, because I'm barking at the pit.
Well, hold on. I just want to talk about. The what do we have? The Fury, not the Fury. We were going to talk about Loma winning, Wisconsin, but I seen that fight. That ain't really nothing to talk about. Loma, pretty much.
He did his thing.
He did his thing, man. He came in then, controlled the fight the whole way. Won his title. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. So the next talk is going to be Lomachenko versus Tank Davis. That is what they're hinting at is what's going to happen. The next fight. So I'm like, oh, okay. So what do you guys think about that one?
I guess I have to accept it because it's not when it comes to those two, I don't care. The fight I want to see is Bud versus Canelo or Bud versus Boots.
Bud versus Alvarez.
Oh, Alvarez, my bad. Nah, he fighting Cinnamon. His mama call him Cinnamon. I'm gonna call him Cinnamon. So yeah, so Bud versus Cinnamon, and then or like I said, or Bud versus Boots. But in terms of, I guess what we're looking at, I guess this is one of the ones that I would be like, man, I guess, but it's probably gonna be a good fight. I think that Lomachenko can take some of those hits. Tank is Tank. So I mean, like
as much
I mean,
as
as much as a man can take is what I'm saying. Like, as far as a person that could get hit and hit someone back just as hard, Lomachenko can. But I don't see this to me is just a fight for Tank to make some money and move forward. It's a name fight. It's not really going to be a
champion. Loma just won the IBF lightweight, so we don't know if it's going to be a unification fight yet. But it very well might be. But you know, Loma's strength has always been his footwork. Like, if I were to compare him to a superhero, he reminds me a lot of oh god damn it, the motherfucker. Come on, help me out, Russ. In Poe,
I gotta get it.
Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler.
Oh, just to disappear and appear.
And he, you know, his footwork, he'll yo-yo you. You know, he will keep that same distance to where he'll pop in, put up some offense, and by the time you respond back, he's not even where you know where your punches at. You know, you might be on the side of you, he might be just out the range, and when you put your guard down, he pops back in, hit you with another little skibbity pass.
And he's harder than expected, and he hits harder than you think. So, but I still don't think that's enough, bro.
No.
Ryan hits harder.
That's not going to be enough for Tank.
Huh? I think Ryan hits harder, and Tank was able to get inside Ryan, and so I just at some point Ryan's going to get inside, and it's just once he gets inside, it's over.
Think of it like this: like my brother liked to describe Lomachenko. He calls him the dancing little axe, because he said he just comes in, he gets a couple of chops.
The hatchet. He's describing a hatchet.
Yeah, the dancing hatchet. You know, he'll come in, get a couple of little whacks in, and he'll pop out. But the thing about Tank is that Tank gotta, you just gotta land a few of them and fold you, dog.
Yeah, Tank will just hit you, and you'll just be, what happened? It's over, dog.
Yeah. So if that fight was to ever go down, I think Tank is going to be the favorite to win.
Yeah, I think it's just a name fight. It's a. I don't think it's a bad fight, but it's one of those fights that we're watching primarily to see, is Tank gonna fuck up? Can Lomachenko last? You know what I'm saying? Will it go to decision, or will he get knocked out? Or Tank?
It's Tank gonna fuck up. There is no there is no, if Tank loses, he fucked up. I mean, that's the thing though. But I mean, if Tank gives us a knockout, then that's why we're watching too. You know what I'm saying? To see if he does that. But if he fucks up, then Lomachenko's going to do some amazing shit, which is going to make it go, oh. So, kind of like what happened to Haney.
I still think it's going to be a good fight, even though, Loma got robbed against Haney. Yeah,
I think it'll be a great fight. I think it'll be a good fight, but it'll be one of those fights that you watch, and we're like, well, Lomachenko got to do something more. He got to do something extra. He got to do something more. The whole fight, you're going to be saying that, but he's not going to be able to do anything more.
Everybody's going to have it in their head that, Tank's the favorite. But before I get out of here, let's go ahead and move over to what we got, the Tyson, not the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
We could just do the. I was gonna say. I mean, Tyson and Paul shit looks ridiculous. I was gonna say, let's just move on to the playoffs. So we can finish this shit up and watch the game.
Mike Tyson. All right, that's all I gotta say. 57 years old, still taking Mike Tyson over.
I'm not taking anybody against the WWE.
Jake about to win that fight.
Jake is not going to lose. I don't know why people picking other people. I don't pick Jake because I like him. I'm telling people I'm picking Jake because Jake is ranked script.
I've always been a Mike fan. I was a Mike fan whenever.
I love Mike.
But
I think we all love Mike. Yeah. But I think me and Paul are sitting there realizing like this is not.
I'm not gonna say anything bad about Jake because
no, Jake put in the work, bro. Like
I like Better and the company he's got, and I'd run and work for them one day. But
oh no, Jake, come on.
We all want to see Jake get knocked out at some point, but that's just
Paul, if you can get Jake on the heavy, you'll be a goat of something.
Like, I'll be honest with you, I'm not even on catching Jake Paul take a nap. Like whenever I kind of start seeing the people he was picking to fight. I was just like, look, man, y'all want this more than it really is.
To be fair, he's a content
creator. Bro.
Thank you, Paul. That's what I'm sitting there saying. Like, to me, I'm looking back. I'm like, this guy is a content creator, a very good one at that, a master manipulator of the public, And every fight that he's had, to me, has had the old thing of like, this is set up. And this is not a hate towards him. It's actually, he's creating a WWE type environment inside of boxing to make money.
It was the Roman Reigns effect. It was the Roman Reigns effect. Everybody wants to watch to see if he's going to lose.
Yes, and I don't think he's going to lose until he racks up enough victories to where people are bored of him winning. Well, when people stop hating him so much that they're bored of him winning,
this will be that transition. This will be that transition.
They've gotten their loss. Their loss whenever he went to decision with Tommy. So people got their pound of flesh. Whatever. But the thing is that.
But it wasn't really an ass whooping. You know what I'm saying?
No, it wasn't. So he still had.
Peep the signs.
He still has. Something that people still want to see. People still want to see.
What makes that look worse? What makes the Jake loss to Tommy look worse is that KSI beat Tommy, even though the decision read that Tommy won the fight. And anybody that watched that fight know that KSI beat Tommy. So like that what makes that loss to Tommy worse. Now I don't think Jake was expecting KSI to put that fight against Tommy, and so the loss wouldn't have hurt that bad. It's a pro boxer. He's 9-0. Like that, the idea of losing to him was all right. Now this fight with Mike is a transition to instead of people wanting to see him lose, I feel like it's going to be like, okay, he's going to take some punches from Mike, and he's also going to give out a lot of damage, and it's going to be like, okay, he can box. I think this is the first transition to like he can box. I want to see more of him winning and being successful like they do with these other fighters in actual boxing.
But you know what I think he's doing? Like Paul, you can stop me if you think I'm just crazy, but this is just casual guy that watches boxing, watches promotion of boxing, and sees people that are amateurs build up. He's an amateur that can afford to make his amateur fights worth millions, and that's all he's doing. And as soon as you say he transitions, when he feels like he's good enough, he's gonna transition into mainstream boxing.
Yeah,
and he's going to make a fucking $1 billion.
Like Logan did with WWE.
I've always looked at it.
Thank you. Logan figured out the WWE and has pimped the shit out that. Yeah. And he's done a great job. And his brother is doing the same thing. Because right now, if his brother was boxing, I feel like they had a conversation. It was like, yo, I want to box. And he was like, man, we can't waste time and money of you boxing underground. So fuck it. Have all your amateur fights public. And let's boost them up because we can afford we can afford everything. Like we're already rich, so we can afford everything. And he's just having his amateur stages put out in public.
Right. The idea,
and it's making him money.
The idea that people want him to fight actual amateur boxers. Those actual amateur boxers are not going to be as good as some of the people that he's fought.
Yeah, like, he's nice.
Like Woodley. I've seen some amateur boxers fight, and Woodley is probably better than 80% of the amateur boxers that are over there stepping stones. Like, yeah, let me fight you to get my 9-0, 10-0, whatever.
Like, I think a lot of the stuff were really kind of sour. A lot of the people was, whenever he, but when he picked Ben Askren, I already knew. I was like, yeah, Ben Askren ain't never had a strike game, so that was already.
That was coming off of Nate, though. So that's what I'm saying. Like he's just slowly stepping into fighting world, and it was
just Mother's Day. I'm sorry, I don't mean to bother. It was just Mother's Day. I'm just doing a dance in the background for all the single moms.
But I've always looked at Jake as being a prize fighter at this point in his career, but I think that this one is going to go on the record, so it's a sanctioned fight. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
I think when it gets to his pinnacle, like he said, I don't want to fight Canelo. I don't think he'll get there in time. I think his pinnacle will be at some point he'll fight Ryan Garcia when Ryan Garcia gets a belt.
I think that's a possibility of I think that is the pinnacle
of Jake's boxing. That's what he'll get to.
Well, I think any of them that is willing to accept it. If Haney was at the top, like any of them, he would.
I could see
Haney gonna be out of there before.
No. I'm saying if Haney would have won, I'm saying Jake is going to get to a point where he's going to challenge the number one guy and be like, "No, I'm really boxing. Like I'm really here. Here's my official record."
but then that'll be like the pinnacle. Once he loses that, it is what it is. So.
Yeah. But yeah,
but he's got to build himself up because he knows he's smart enough to know I can't just blow it and lose, you know what I'm saying, to a real fighter and until I have built up a bunch to make people believe. Because there's people that really believe that do believe now and that are gonna believe that he could beat a number one boxer. And shit. I mean, who knows? He may be pulling the wool over everybody's eyes like Ryan Garcia. And maybe
he'll have a better showing than Conor. Conor had a good showing against Floyd.
It's Floyd.
Yeah, but Jake will have a better showing, in my opinion, against whoever he does fight than
because
Conor did against Floyd.
Yeah, because they're not Floyd. Like Conor fought the best in his weight class ever, a GOAT for real.
And he was like at the end of his prime, but he was still.
Yeah,
Floyd was still.
Floyd's whooping niggas' asses now in exhibitions across the world. He's like, you got $10 million, I'll go whoop a nigga ass for you, and you can watch. Like he is. Floyd is just going around the globe, gassing the jet, whooping ass.
Well,
like
Floyd
exhibition fights. What's up?
Floyd goes around. He fights, the best young talent in the world. But
spars him.
Yeah, he spars him. But like he did the same thing because before I get out, when Canelo and Floyd had their fight, and Russ can attest to this, San Antonio loves their fighters, hates Floyd Mayweather.
He loves their fighters. What he's saying, people in San Antonio is predominantly Mexican, and they like their Latino fighters. Yeah. And if you come in there not Latino, then you're coming into an away.
Well, there's a reason. I don't really like Floyd either. It's a reason why they hate Floyd. It's a reason why they hate Floyd, and the context is whenever he fought Oscar. He came out there on Cinco de Mayo with the whole sombrero get up and stuff like that, and they were very offended by that.
Yeah, no, but that's Floyd's whole thing was.
So ever since then, yeah, he's gonna beat your best fighter.
Floyd is the Drake of boxing, where like he's gonna purposely do something to piss you off.
Yeah, like
their whole idea, I understand, is like he never fought any of the best in their like prime. I get it, like it is what it is, but somebody should have clipped this motherfucker. Right
that's the equivalent of like that's the equivalent of Tyson Fury saying, "I'm gonna fight all my fights in February."
Yeah. That is the reason why they hate.
It's well
they hate him. But I remember watching the fight, and I was talking with one of my coworkers, and she was like willing to like put up money, and at this time, if you knew, you knew. As he Russ laughing because he knows that this was a come up. Whenever Floyd fought, on Cinco de Mayo, you will always bet. I bet my coworkers, every time he would a fight was announced, I would bet, and the bet was always for a $50 and I would make a killing because.
Let me tell you something, Poe. If you ever go to San Antonio, there's two things you can do. If the Spurs aren't better than the team they're playing, find a Spurs fan, bet them. They're gonna bet you any amount. They're gonna put it on. They'll bet you a rack. It don't fuck about I'll find you a Spurs fan that'll bet you a rack that these niggas could beat the Nuggets right now. Yeah. I'll tell you how I feel about them. But no, seriously, but it's serious. It's serious.
No.
He's like that serious. So like they'll do that.
Russ know what I'm talking about. Now I'm gonna say this. There was multiple arguments about Manu Ginobili being better than Michael Jordan, and they were serious.
Nigga, a person tried to tell me that Kawhi Leonard, tried to tell my homie, I'm sorry, let me not falsify. A person tried to tell my homie that Kawhi Leonard shot threes better than Steph Curry. I'm just gonna let you know. San Antonio is a different world, man. The bias to the Spurs. I hate them niggas. Anyways, I hate you niggas.
And my coworker,
I wasn't here last week. I wanted to ask you, Boogie, who you had winning.
Which one for?
When you got in the rap beef.
Oh man, come on, dog. I'm gonna be honest with you.
We're not even gonna get to the fucking. We're not even gonna get to the Mavs. Go ahead. I'm gonna be honest. Post that did some hating ass nigga shit. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. Like after Not Like Us drop, I called it. I was like,
what? That was the pinnacle.
That to me, because I knew as a DJ, I knew where this shit was going. I was like, this shit's
it's an unwinnable battle for Poe. It's unwinnable, bro. We get the point.
Like Matters was the best This track dropped on that entire shit, bro.
Dog. And the thing was that, and this is my takeaway: Drake got outmaneuvered. You know, his shit got stepped on, and that's what really kind of took the sales out. And his response wasn't as good as Family Matters, and people shat on it. Like, and I think that's the thing that's really kind of fucked up, is because they put it like this. It's like you're at a restaurant and they order a meal, and the meal comes out and it's on the fucking hot plate. The bitch is sizzling. You bring it out to the motherfucking table, and the chef is in the back. You're like, man, I put my foot in, this motherfucker gonna hit. People take a bite of it. They say, man, send this shit back to the kitchen.
Okay, but let's look at, so Not Like Us and Euphoria were the two tracks that Kendrick had that wasn't bullshit. It was just like the rest of it, like the diary talk to this fake daughter, like I'm gonna take that shit out. The 616, But so if we go Family Matters, which is a 7.5 minute song, against Euphoria and Not Like Us, that's what you're arguing. So technically, Family Matters is like two separate songs. Like he put that whole diss towards everybody else in the middle of it, but it's two separate songs. Now, if I compare Euphoria and Not Like Us to Family Matters, and I just put those head to head because those are really like the two battles, I'm taking Family Matters as far as a diss track every time. So when I look back at this battle, and I'm like, all right, let me go back and let me see. I'm gonna say that because the timeline of when you dropped, everything that was going on, the club bop, all that shit's not gonna matter when I look back at this battle at some point.
Well, now see, the thing is this, that living in it and going back and you revisiting it is never going to be the same.
Right.
Here, like for us to go back and look at other battles, like one thing I was telling Russ was that my favorite battle of all time is the Beanie Siegel and Jadakiss battle. Because that was so close. It was a razor's edge. You didn't have social media. You didn't have people, really kind of, putting their opinion on it. Like you really just had to listen and you had to formulate opinion. Like it was so close to where I would, because this happened when I was in high school. I would go back to one of my buddies and I would recite the shit that Beanie Siegel said to him to convince him that Beanie Siegel was, but he would convince me that Jadakiss. And by the time we would argue, we would flip flop. We would change positions.
I still don't know who won.
That to me is a great wish spot. But let me go. But let me bring it up with the Drake shit. I don't like to omit things. I don't like to take things out of battles and shit like that. Whatever was presented is presented. Like I don't like to be like, oh well, we can't omit this because we don't know if it's true. Well, hell, we never knew that. We still don't know if Jay-Z was 36 in the karate class and was a Taebo hoe.
He is a Taebo hoe.
But the thing was, it was entertaining. We knew that Ice Cube wasn't going to Chicago whenever he was beefing with Common, talking about he going to shoot up both sides of the street. We knew this, but these things were still at a level of entertainment. So I do take them as that. But my thing is this: we can't go back and we can't revisit certain things and the effects of this battle. But the one thing that really sold me was that when he dropped Not Like Us, the shit was everywhere. The BBL Drizzy shit is everywhere. Like that is the impact that I'm talking about. Like,
I watch battle rap.
Music is always subjective. Like, and we know that. You like what you like. Some people might think that this was mid, and that's their opinion. Other people might think it's the best thing in sliced bread. That's their opinion. But the one thing that you can't refute is the impact that it's had. And, and I think that, that's an aspect that we have to take into consideration now, given the times that we're living in where, the social media aspect is a play. Because like you said, in battle rap, the thing is, the objective is, you don't have to sit there. You don't have to say the most coldest lyrics or the most violent lyrics or even the funniest shit. You just got to get people on your side.
Right. And you got to get that's in the building. That's all I was going to bring up. In the building, you can have a 2-1 win for somebody that you go back and watch it, and it was a 3-0 the other way. Because when you go back and watch it, you're dissecting the bars. So I'm saying my whole thing is like in 10 years, when Drake is still going to be a top artist and Kendrick is still going to be a great rapper. When you go back and look at these, there's going to be some people that are just getting into the music game. They're like, how the fuck did y'all have Kendrick win it? And that's my like personal opinion of the bars, like the bars in general. When these come out and nothing was true about any of the allegations that they had going on and whatnot, because in the middle of it, Drake did cook the rest of the guys that were on that track. And so it's a 30 ball on their head and nobody's really responded with anything crazy. And then the rest of it about Kendrick, you could call it a draw, but he's because of the narrative that he was fighting so many guys and it's in his raps, it's going to look like Drake cooked all these dudes. And so like when I go back at battle rap and I look at battle rap in the room, you could have Kendrick winning 2-1. When you go back and watch it on tape, it's gonna look like Drake won that battle. In my opinion, I don't know how people are gonna feel, but when people go back and watch it, I just
we know how people feel.
Yeah.
My whole overall point is the fact that you can't win a battle if everybody hates you. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it. I said a lot more. It's a lot of hating nigga shit going on, and Future made a song about hater shit. I don't agree with hater shit.
Speaking of Future, we didn't get.
He lied to me. He lied to me. Him and Kanye owe me, man. You niggas keep lying to me, but I still say I bet that nigga mixtape go harder than his album. I don't know. That Gunna shit went hard as fuck. Future, you gonna need to make some shit because Gunna shit is tough.
Drake left the door open for Future and him to make another album.
He did, and I hope
Drake
they do.
Went much harder on Future than that.
I hope they do. I hope they do make another album. Boogie, can we get you for like 5 minutes, bro?
What you need?
10 minutes. I mean, because the playoffs, I'll just do it. NBA playoffs. My nigga, come on now. Everybody thought that the T-Wolves had that shit wrapped up. I had an old dude at my gym that I fucks with. He's cool. You know what I'm saying? He was like, told you, and man. Denver turned around, slapped them niggas in the face and said, hey, yo, we got ourselves a series. Oh, and one more game. When you got Murray hitting half-court shots, looking at the announcer like, say it. Bang, Murray hits that bitch from half-court. I just like, you know what I'm saying? So what do y'all think so far of that series, the flip-flop of that series, and then we can get into the Knicks and Pacers, and then finally we can talk about the Mavs and OKC because they're battling out right now. OKC fighting, Mavs trying to keep this lead. Pretty much the same story of the whole thing, and the Cavs are dead. Fuck Cleveland.
I'm going to say this. I said it, a couple weeks ago. Well, I think it was last week. I did say that the Nuggets were the team to beat because they're still the champions. So I'm not surprised that they came back, but I do much rather would like to see a Mavericks and a T-Wolves Western Conference Finals. Poe says no. That's what I want to see.
I just want the Mavs. The Mavs versus whoever. Mavs versus everybody.
My picks, Denver versus Boston is happening, and I said at the beginning, I said it that them boys been there. They got the bloodline. I see it. Like that's what I had picked. I said if anybody was going to get Denver out of there, it was going to be the Lakers, and I feel like they had the closest games when they did win, and they lost by 2 game winners is what it is. So I have the Denver and Boston in the finals, and that's still happening, in my opinion.
All right, Russ.
You already know how I feel. We battling right now. It is 68-56. The Mavericks trying to get it done, but the Thunder is doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna fight. I of course want to see Mavs versus anybody. I think the Mavs can do it. I think that the Mavs have certain games, we go cold, you know what I'm saying, at certain times, and it makes us look really bad. But the Mavericks have the one thing that most teams can't beat. We got 2 players in the top 5, in my opinion, that are isolation players that can't be stopped, and Luka and Kyrie. Isolation players.
Okay.
Not overall. Overall, there's a lot more included in overall. I'm talking about like these are 2 top 5 guys that you could say, here's the ball. Do something with it. You know what I'm saying? PJ's playing out of his mind. I'm trying to talk a little fast so we can all get out of here, finish watching the games and everything. But PJ's out of his mind, playing really well. I think the Mavericks have a really good team. It's just that we're witnessing the youth movement. Things are shifting and changing. But Ant-Man said something at the beginning of the playoffs. At the beginning of the series when he was playing against Joker, he said, we're the youth movement I'm paraphrasing, but we're the youth movement that's coming up and making our way. But Joker and them are the kings. They are the ones at the top. They are the ones that we need to respect. And I'll say this again. And Boogie, I do these little quirky like comparisons. And after a while, people are like, damn it, this nigga was right. They're a machine. The Spurs were a machine. We are watching a team that operates at the same capacity as the San Antonio Spurs. It does not matter who's open. Braun, what is his name? The kid from Kansas, Brown. He gets the ball. Oh my God, he's scoring. KCP gets the ball. Oh, he's hitting shots. Black Magic, that's Reggie Jackson for those who's not in tune with the show. Black Magic gets the ball. He's scoring. You got Joker that came out there, no turnovers, 40 points, shot 75% from the field, and absolutely eviscerated Rudy Gobert. I'm talking the NFL. I mean, the NBA went to Rudy's house and said, "Where the trophy at, my nigga? We need that back immediately." Because Wemby needs that motherfucker, or Anthony Davis needs it, because you got cooked 1v1, the MVP versus the Defensive Player of the Year, and Joker showing everybody, hey, I'm that guy. Hello, my name is him. I got the trophies. Oh yeah, and I'll dunk when I need to. And Murray is just, I think Jamal Murray, he'll get most of his flowers when he's done, because he's an asshole. People hate him because he knows he's that dope, but they're just a machine. I haven't seen a
There's
team.
been four machines: Golden State, San Antonio, Denver, and Boston when they initially got their first big three, in my opinion. And the reason I was having this argument with you about the Mavs a couple weeks ago is because I just don't see a LeBron yet to go ahead and take now, and has putting up a tough ass fight. I just haven't seen a LeBron that can absolutely just fuck up that machine. And I just haven't seen it. Luka, I don't know. I just don't know.
He's hurt, but you know why you don't know? Because he's hurt, and we know this. We know he's hurt. We know he's beat up, and Luka's got mental shit going on. Like I tweeted earlier, like he's not this game because it looks like he's just hooping this game, but he's letting his ego get in the way of just playing basketball, because Luka's a physical guy. Luka's a guy that if you stick your chest out, he's gonna bump your chest too. You're not gonna over alpha me on this basketball court. So he's dealing with that with Dort. Dort's playing football. But Poe, I can't sit here and say you're wrong. It remains to be seen, because someone's got to do it. But I think Luka's the guy that can do it. I have full faith in Ant-Man. I just think that Ant-Man's running up on this version. And let me say this though. This version of the Spurs. When I say machine, you're not wrong about the Golden State Warriors, but those are like machines with like chrome and bells and whistles. When I say the Spurs were the uncool guys that always won. Like that's what the Denver Nuggets are. Peace out, Boogie. That's what the Denver Nuggets are. The Denver Nuggets aren't the cool team. The Denver Nuggets aren't the team that everybody wants to see win. The Spurs were like that. We see the Spurs go against all these teams with these players that we had their jerseys. We liked them. And you go out there and you watch, you're like, fucking Tim Duncan's whooping your ass. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Tony Parker's
they got Jokic,
ass.
who's a MVP, 2-time MVP. That's why I compare him to like the Warriors. Jokic is young. And they were built through the draft. All of them were built through the draft, and that is similar to similar to San Antonio. San Antonio was built through the draft, and like they were able to put like a machine type together throughout. Yeah. Austin was more built through trades, but they were still for like 4 or 5 years still like
I'll give you the first Golden State, the before KD, because I'm speaking of built from the ground up.
Yeah.
And the main part about it is in that team, because you had who was the point guard that fucked up his leg but came back?
Whose team?
Golden State. His name slips. Really cold. He had that gruesome leg injury, super from the mid-range.
6'5" guy. Sean Livingston.
Yeah, okay. So remember, Sean, like guys like this, they just get the ball and it's like, what the fuck? Like it's like in his career, he shot like fucking 90% from
it's a curveball to everybody else's fastball.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So and it's the same kind of thing that they built there. Like
Jr. got that.
Yep. Yeah. And so, but I think the Mavs have a good shot.
It's gonna be on Luka, because the thing is, you have to have a LeBron to beat those machines. You have like a LeBron Cavs, LeBron Heat.
That's what he's supposed to be.
And he's supposed to be that. So that's why I just don't know if he's there yet. I don't know. He's still young. He's still young as hell. And I just don't know if he's there yet. But I think he can get there if he's not there yet. And but I don't know if he'll have his Batman or his Robin by the time he gets it. I personally don't think it's there yet. I think Denver's in the finals. That's how I have it. But if it's gonna be anybody right now, it's maybe Tatum. I think
this is let me take, because of course if the Mavericks get there, I'm gonna root for the Mavericks. But I do look, and you know, I've been known to say the East is doo-doo. So like, but if we're gonna talk about Boston, like Boston, I do believe that they're gonna go, and I think it's their year. It just seems to me that, and I told somebody else that Boston's a team to me. Everybody talking all this shit about they play half-ass. When they get to the finals, they're gonna turn the fuck up, and when they do, teams are gonna be like, whoa, because when you see games where you're gonna. No, but I think they are. I think we're gonna see games where Brown has 40, Tatum has 40. Like they're gonna go back and forth and prove to people that, like, no, we know what we're doing. Like we're the professionals here. Right. Like you just didn't like the way that we were operating because we knew what we could get. And I don't feel like it's a cockiness. I just feel like they're just cruising. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And when they get to that final mile, they're gonna put their pedal to the metal.
But we've felt like that for years. Like for 2 years now or 3 years now, Boston was supposed to win. Like that yeah. Like Boston has the guy or the two guys that are supposed to win, and like they haven't. So like if they don't this year, they're no better than LeBronto.
The window's closing. If they don't, it's LeBronto. It's LeBronto. It's the Sacramento Kings.
I don't know how to combine that with Jokic because Joe Concho,
Geronto, but I think I look at the Mavs right now, and the game is in wavering position because you can't really trust anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's fine. On the playoffs are so up and down, but I feel. Let me just say this because we go back and forth, and you see my tweets. I feel why people have the doubt of Luka. My problem is I don't think enough people are actually watching him. You know what I'm saying? In the effort that he gives. And I want to say this while we got a chance before we close out. Like, Luka's giving us everything that we want in superstars. People are complaining about guys not playing hurt. The motherfucker's on one leg. You can see the blood going through. He's willing to play physical basketball without the calls. Like, he's bitching at the refs, but I think he's gotten to a point where he's dug in. That's my personality. I don't get along with the refs, and I argue with them, whether you like it or not. Do I like it? Not really, but I understand it. So we move forward. He balls through it, and he plays through it. He plays through contact. He scores when he needs to. He has triple doubles. I just think that Luka is just the guy. He's looking like Drake, my nigga. Like everybody hates this man. Like people said, Luka, you don't play defense. Luka's been trying his ass off on defense, and he's not great at it. But we
dubbed Luka that. It's the same way that LeBron got the hate as being the chosen one. He dubbed himself that. We dubbed Luka the next. He was. You know what I'm saying? So like he's got it. Whereas LeBron, it took him a while. So like I said, I'm giving Luka time because he's young. But it took LeBron to go to the Heat to figure out how to win games. If Luka doesn't win these championships in these games, he's not going to be looked at any differently than these other big time.
You want to know something? That's a great point you make, Poe, because I view when you said like LeBron James going to the Heat, I think the quote unquote the Heat has come to Luka.
Dallas,
and that's Kyrie,
better manager, and he's able to
get players. Kyrie, and people need to stop hating on Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd lets his guys play, and we're a little faulty right now. Lead about to look like it's about to get cut to 10.
I wouldn't be surprised if Luka gets his Dwayne Wade next year. That boy 23 might. If they lose this year, that boy 23.
Well, no, I think if they lose this year, there's going to be additions to the team. That
23 might be coming through. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he might be coming through
on a low contract.
Kid in Chicago. Yeah, no, LeBron might be coming through. Yeah. And people don't want to believe it, but from the way it's looking and the way that the landscape looks, if the Mavericks go outside, Kyrie gonna say, "Squeeze him in, bro."
Come teach him how to win.
Yeah, I can't do it. So that or I do see a situation where Zach LaVine ends up making it down here. But that's a health scare kind of thing, because like I think he'd fit in perfectly with the Mavs, but health he's gonna get hurt. We're not gonna have him. It's going to be a determination of like, it might end up like the Bradley Beal. Me personally, as a Mavs fan, I know there's Mavs fans that hate him. I'd love to see LeBron come to the Mavs.
Stretch 4. He can be
I think, I think you could put him in stretch 4. You could even squeeze him at the 3. You can put him at the 3 and keep PJ playing.
I just think you want him to guard a 4. Like that's why I said.
Oh yeah, no, you can guard whoever.
Guard a 4. I don't think you want him to guard these small forwards anymore at 40. I love Braun, but like there's some times where
that's what I said PJ. That's why I said you put PJ in too. So I guess you can say stretch 4. PJ Washington. You put PJ Washington in, Braun, Luka, Kyrie,
kind of mix match.
Yeah, and then you have Gafford or Lively. That's a good lineup. The only thing is Luka's gonna have the ball more, and so it's gonna be interesting to see LeBron go, which he's done before. So people are like, Luka has the ball. No, Bron's played this year. Like, he's played the 4 where he just plays post, and he's very good at it. He finds open guys. You just gotta hit the shot. But I hope we don't get to that point, because if we get to that point, that means that the Mavs have lost. So and we're running right now. The OKC is a very good team. The Mavericks aren't as fast, but we're bigger. We're dealing with Luka's hurt, and that doesn't need to be an excuse, but he is, and it's showing up. But PJ's playing his ass off, so I think that like we just gotta ride the wave. Before we leave, we already talked about the depths of the Cavs. What do you think about the Knicks and the Pacers, man? Pacers trying to do it for Grandpa. The Knicks are hurt.
The dead series, in my opinion. I think Boston's gonna 40 bag or Gentleman's 40 bag. Either one of those guys that come out. So like that, the series is just not fun.
I'm just glad someone else has my sentiments about the East, bro. Like the East is just gonna be what it is. The championship's gonna come out the West. Other than that, Poe, love to have you back next week when Sterling comes on. Please wear more Dolphin shit.
The schedules came out. I forgot about that. The schedules came out.
Oh, the schedule. We're gonna talk about that next week. The schedules came out. We're gonna talk about that next week. Next week's gonna be heavy on the football, the basketball, and we'll try to squeeze in some baseball because the Astros suck. Give you a Kawhi laugh before I leave. Other than that, Poe, you got any closing thoughts?
None, bro. I appreciate you having me on. I'm down to be back on next week.
Yeah, next week we'll bring Poe back. Sterling should be back, so we're gonna have the Dolphins and the Bills beefing. He said he had some shit come up. Some security cyber shit. You know what I'm saying? So he's saving the world that way. So shout out to Sterling. Shout out to those that are watching and listening on all platforms. That's YouTube. That's Instagram. Sorry, Mr. Sherrod, but the Yankees are better than the Astros right now because you suck, booze. And I want to say congratulations to Matthew Sherrod because he's going to be getting married in a couple weeks. So we going up. There will be pictures online. Russ is stepping out. I won't have a hat on for the first time in months. So, you know what I'm saying? Hello, ladies. I'm a killer. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Other than that, I agree. Other than that, Paul, we'll say this. We can't get with that hater shit. So, Kendrick, you can have your victory amongst the people, but all you niggas are some haters. And that shit just don't sit fly with me at all. Other than that, shit. You want the outro? Do they want the outro? Let me see if I can get the outro. Let me give them the outro. I guess I give them the outro. Let me see. What the fuck? This is what happens when you're the backup guy. Let me see. You know what, guys? I can't find the outro. So because I can't find the outro, fuck it. We're just gonna bring us back on the screen and say bye, motherfuckers. Bye. We ain't with that hating shit. Peace.